Hey everybody, we are having some tech issues, so everything it looks like Facebook and Instagram related didn't work. So that's like 3 or 4 Facebook pages, the Facebook profile and the Instagram. So I'm sorry if that's where you want to watch. Facebook isn't being nice to me today, but we are live on YouTube and on Facebook. I just share the YouTube link, so make sure you join over on YouTube. Sorry, my side's fine. It's just, Facebook's being a pain in the ass. I'll see you in 2 minutes. My friends, my buddies, man, I don't need this to be a day of tech issues. Okay? I apologize for those of you that are trying to watch live on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, but that is not working right now, so we are going to go with what works. We're going to go with YouTube. We're going to go with I think a couple other Twitch, but right now it looks like Facebook, and everything in Facebook world does not want to work. No idea what's going on there, which really sucks because that's really good for engagement. That is really, really good for engagement. And that just, yeah, it just sucks. It just sucks when technology doesn't work. We rely on it so much. To tell you the truth, I'm even lucky that we are live today. As my evening was wrapping up yesterday, I think at like 4 or 5 o'clock, more like 5 or 6 o'clock, I got a notice from our internet provider that we were going to be down to like 9:30 at night, and then right around 9:30 at night, we got another notice that we're going to be down to like 1:30 in the morning. And so your boy was getting a little bit paranoid there. And fortunately, I woke up this morning and I tested everything. Every single day, I get more and more paranoid. So I test everything. And this morning, I got up and I did test everything. I absolutely promise I test everything. And I hit the go live button, and guess what? It's not working. It is not working. So here we are on YouTube. Well, this is what we're going to open with, okay? I was trying to figure, I always like to open up with something uplifting, and my friend Courtney Clark on LinkedIn had posted this, and I saw it just this morning as I was just gathering information for the show for you. And this is what she put out there, which was really cool, and I have no idea who the original person is. It doesn't really matter. The things that aren't enough today are the exact things you longed for 5 years ago. The things that aren't enough today are the exact things you longed for 5 years ago. So if there's something in your life that is not very satisfying, you don't like, maybe your job, or you don't like the amount of money you're making, or you may not like a new relationship that you're in, remember that some of these things, not all of these things, but some of these things are the things that were on your wish list in the past, okay? And don't take that 5 years ago to be literally. It could be five, could be 10, could be whatever. And it may not be all the things, but the whole point is there are times where we get so bogged down in the grind and the next level and the next level and wanting more and more things that we forget that, you know what, we actually have it pretty damn good because this is what we wanted. Because at some point in time in the past, we were in a bad place and we wanted this. We wanted what here's here right in front of us. So as you go throughout the rest of your week and today, and you're kind of getting down on yourself about, you just don't you just don't like where you are and you want more, and there's nothing wrong with wanting more. There really isn't. I am all for wanting more. I really am. Just bear with me if my eye line's not in the camera. I'm getting some things rearranged. But just remember where you are and where you've come from, okay? And you probably, in some areas of your life, have it pretty darn good compared to where you be. So please, please don't forget that as you go throughout the day. I'm looking in the camera here. My hair is actually doing pretty good. I always know when I got a good haircut if it's shiny from above. And yes, there's a shine on the chrome on the dome today. Thank goodness. Hey, if you are watching and you can't comment on social media, you can always text into us. The show number is 405-217-4752, and I want to hear from you. Because I tell everybody else, I come with an agenda, but my agenda is very fluid and it will adjust based on what you want to talk about, okay? So the number again, 405-217-4752. Text in, tell us your name, tell us where you're watching. Even if you're on YouTube or Twitch, tell us your name, tell us where you're watching. And you know what you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Did your day start off well? Did your day start off poorly? Today is July 31st. It's 9:10 U.S. Central Time, and I just want to know, are you overseas and your day's wrapping up, and you had maybe a meh day? Share that with me. Let's talk about that. I want to see what I can do to make your day better. Like I said, I got an agenda of things I want to train on here or talk about, but I'm always a little bit flexible. And I always want to, I always want to vibe with my audience, and I want to do something that maybe both of us can learn from. If you are watching live, even if you watch the recording, can you do me a favor? This doesn't cost you anything. Can you, number one, subscribe every place you see me on social media? Subscribe, follow, like, do whatever it is you do. Subscribe, especially on YouTube. That's the big one for me. But on the Facebook fan page, on the Facebook profile, on Instagram, over on Twitch, on LinkedIn, number one, subscribe. Helps me out and really helps me increase the reach of the show. And number two, share. And this is especially true if you're watching the show live. Trying to get obviously the viewership up. I am not above shameless promotion and same shameless begging. So if you are watching this live, share this with a buddy on YouTube or on LinkedIn or on Facebook. Share it and help me increase the reach. That's what I really need. I'm obviously doing all my own marketing to share the show, but if you shared it, if you thought I was doing some good stuff, I would really appreciate it. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And this is just, it's not like I said, this is an experiment. I'm just never sure about the time. And this is why we live, in a 24-hour news cycle. So I'm never sure. Should I go live at 6 o'clock in the morning where people are getting ready? Should I go live at 7 o'clock in the morning where people are getting ready and driving to work? Should it be 8 o'clock when people are at their desk? Should it be 9? Should it be noon? Should it be 6 p.m.? Or should I treat it like a talk show and do this at, 5, 6 p.m. at night? You let me know there. Right now, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 9 a.m. U.S. Central is our show times. And if you want to watch any of the past shows, obviously those are up on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and all those places. And I was going to say that on the podcast also, but I just realized yesterday, a buddy of mine, Ryan Johnson, a professional pilot buddy of mine, reminded me that I have not been updating my content over on the podcast. And I looked, and yeah, ever since I've been going live again, I think I'm close to 10 shows that are not up on the podcast. So I'll work on that for you also. Okay. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. If you are watching, please tell me your location also. And like I said, something good that happened to you this week. My week, last time I went live was Monday. and it was, I was having my week started off very good, and actually, I think I said Monday was kind of a mid to low energy day. Today was a very high energy bounce out of bed, hit the pavement at 5 a.m. I think I was out the road on the road at 5:30 a.m. walking around suburbia. No skunk in the front yard. That's been something recently that scares me half to death. For a while there, I'd walk out of my front yard 5:30 in the morning, and there'd be a skunk there. And one of the times, the skunk actually followed me to come. Because the skunk, I'm sure, wanted some loving, wanted to be petted. Because all it is a big, giant, stinky cat, right? Yeah, that ain't happening. So this morning, my normal modus operandi now, when I step out my front porch, is to scan for the skunk, and then if the skunk's not there, then I'll make a beeline for the street and get in my 3 or 4 miles. So it was good this morning. Bounced out. Had a great day. Reconnected with some old friends this week, which was pretty cool, which always brings my energy up. Monday morning, I got to talk to my good friend Taylor Lunan, who is, I believe, in Orlando, Florida. Taylor, sorry if you're watching and I got that wrong, but I know she's out in Florida someplace. She's got a cool new project going on, and we had a chance to chat Monday morning, so that was very cool. Lifted up my energy, and she even had, some constructive advice about some things in my marketing that I could be improving on, which I was totally open to. The day that I'm not open to listening to somebody else's advice in my life and business is the day I should probably put out to pasture. Okay, just somebody old yell at me one day when I stop taking advice, because that's just the way to start looking like a fool. And then last night, my buddy Ryan Johnson, a professional pilot here in Oklahoma City, well, a pilot and a flight instructor. So hint, hint, if you ever wanted to learn to fly, connect with me and I'll connect you with Ryan. He and I were chatting because he does a show about aviation. I'm not sure if it's live or not, but I was able to be on his show once, and it was really cool. That was the best show I was on, or I'm not going to say. Here's how to put it. It was probably, I'll take that back. It was probably one of the best shows I was ever on when I was a guest on a podcast, because I'm a guest on plenty of live streams, plenty of podcasts. And the reason that was a really cool show to be on is because I got to fly to be on it. And it was about aviation, and it wasn't an airport hangar. So over on Ryan Johnson's YouTube channel, you'll find all of his shows. They're brilliantly produced. And that day, what I did is I drove to the airport where I rent my plane from. I got in there and I flew to his airport. I believe he's based in El Reno Airport, if you're familiar with the Oklahoma area. And I landed and I taxied up to his hangar, where we then recorded the show. We recorded the show in his hangar. So we recorded the show with look like an airplane in front of us, which is dope. So my airplane's parked outside. My rental airplane is parked outside the hangar. His is inside, and Ryan and I just talked for a while about aviation, about other stuff, and then I got done. We took some pictures, said our goodbyes, and then I got in the plane and I flew back to my home airport. I mean, that is just an amazing day for me when I get to fly to do something. Obviously, I was excited, and I was excited to be on a video show. I was excited to turn the video show into a podcast with him. That was pretty freaking cool. So hopefully, Ryan and I will do that again at some point in time. And he and I even talked last night about getting him live on this show at some point in time. Probably in the next week or two, I'm going to start adding in live interviews and guests. The tech stuff these days is pretty easy. It really is. I just want to make sure that we are settled to a regular pattern. I'm following my agenda, and we have some good things going on here. Monday morning, if you were watching the show live, I told you a new habit that I was doing that I fell off the wagon on Tuesday. So I did it on Sunday and Monday. And then Tuesday, I have to admit, I just had some high stress moments in the morning and I fell off the wagon. Okay. Didn't quite make it. I fell off the wagon. And what I mean by that is I had coffee. So Sunday morning, I did my weigh-in, where I check on my weight, and that kind of gauges what I do for the next week health-wise. And my weight was not going in the right direction. So I took a moment, felt sorry for myself, and then I licked my wounds and I said, okay, what kind of violent action can we take this week to maybe make some adjustments? And one of the things I was thinking of is, what? Maybe, not that I'm gaining weight from coffee, but maybe because of 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day, I'm causing some of my other organs, like my liver, to not function correctly or to not function at its optimum, level. And I have no basis for this. I just know that all of our organs, our livers and our kidneys and everything else, that stuff has to work very well and very efficiently for stuff like, weight loss and weight gain to work. And so this week I said, you know what? I wonder what happens if I just cut out coffee for a week. Made that decision Monday, bragged about it on the show. Made that decision Sunday, bragged about it on the show on Monday, and then promptly fell off the wagon on Tuesday. So we are back at it. So the Playmakers coffee cup, which you guys all know and love right there, the Playmakers coffee cup is filled with water. Will I have coffee today? Probably not. Coffee is a stimulant when I think I'm mentally kind of low, and today I'm feeling pretty good. Don't need coffee. Already had some healthy food in me. This is my second batch of coffee. Had my liquid IV drink after the show. I'll probably have some eggs or hit my protein shake up. Probably eggs, and then I'll get the protein shake later. But I'll try to stick to it again. So maybe if I fell off the wagon once this week, it's not that bad. It really, really isn't. Um, you go, for those of you in the US, make sure you are paying attention to the political process. As you may or may not know, I think I'm pretty much a centrist when it comes to parties and when it comes to leanings. I like hearing, fiery debate and things like if you have something to say to me, say it to my face. These are things which are cute, but right now I just think we have some more energy in the campaign, whether your campaigns, excuse me, and that's what I like to see. I like to see politicians coming at each other, as long as it's not personal stuff, as long as it's on the issues, because we should have fierce debates. We should have all kinds of very spirited discussions on things. And then at the end of the day, when we have voted, whatever way you vote, we should be able to come together, have a drink, have a cup of coffee together, and be friends. Okay. And that's actually one of my, I'm not gonna get into it now. It's one of the things on my agenda I want to talk about is political parties and how we treat each other. But that really should be the way that we should be able to get along in this world, is have spirited debates about topics, and then at the end of the day, just come together and say, you know what, it doesn't really matter whether you lean left, right, north, south, diagonally, wherever. We are all human beings who want more money. We want our expenses to be less. We want clean water, and we want our kids to grow up healthy and be smarter than we are. And of course, you always want, or most people I know, want the generation after them to be better than their generation, because their generation is better than generation before them. So we're always trying to improve and lift either our children or the future generation on our shoulders, and that's what I'm trying to do here also. So let's keep having the spirited debates. Let's keep up with the cute little sound bites and quips and things like that. Let's just make sure they're not personal, okay? And also let's make sure that let me see, what's the phrase here I want to use correctly. Let's make sure they are topic based and they are the things that matter. Let's definitely not pay attention to the petty, trivial, small things, if you will. Okay, that's just ridiculous to do stuff like that. My topic today, which I was thinking of as I started thinking about it yesterday, and then as I was on my walk this morning, I went through these, are 5 painful truths you don't want to hear. Okay. There are things that I share sometimes that are very uplifting and motivational, and that's the way I think life should be most of the time. But sometimes we have to talk about the negative things which may be holding us back or weighing us down or keeping us up at night. If you're any, if you're like me or like anybody else who's ever gone to bed with something on your mind, that thing sticks with you and it prevents you from getting a good night's sleep. And that's a very important thing. So if you go to bed and something someone said is on your mind, or there's a part of your life that's just not as good as you want it to be, or business sucks, or the job sucks, or something, that will nag on you. That will occupy your brain while you're trying to fall asleep, and you will not be able to fall asleep well. You will not be able to get a deep sleep, and when you wake up, that thing will be right there on your brain when you get back. So, we that's some of what I'm going to talk about here. Is these things right here are the probably things that you don't want to hear. Okay, they are stressors in your life, and you don't want to hear them, but I want you to hear them, and I want you to hear them and listen to them with an open mind, okay? Because that's the whole point, is they may not be things you want to hear, but they are things that you need to hear if you want to make a difference in your life, if you will. Okay, so let's talk about these. I got five of them. The first one here is you may have bad friends. Okay, and by bad I don't mean criminal or mischievous or friends with ill intent. You just may have friends in your life that are not serving you. And you're not a king, you don't need to be quote unquote served, but if your friends should be the kind of people that you want to be around, and not just want to be around because they're your friends. They should be the kind of people you want to be around because they contribute something to your life and you contribute something to their life. And so here's an example. Let's say you have a group of buddies that you know because you've known them most of your life. You knew them in college, possibly grew up with them in high school, and you guys have kind of always done the same thing. You like to go to bars, like to get, possibly, shit faced. You just like to do certain things. Yet at the same time, in the back of your head, you're thinking, you know what, I want more out of my life. I want to do bigger and better things. I want to be healthier. And the things that you do with those friends, or the topics you talk about with those friends, I just realized I was leaning in really far. They may not serve you being healthy, okay? Physically healthy. Good example. Um, um, if you're somebody who does want to, like, say, run a marathon or do any kind of outdoor sporting events, I've heard someone say before that the impact of alcohol, for example, is something that takes days to recover from, because you've lost the time of the time you were drinking, and you've lost the day after of when you were drinking, and then you've possibly lost several other days as a result of some of the actions you took when you were drinking. So drinking isn't just drinking, and I'm talking about heavy drinking. I'm not talking about, half a glass of wine once a week or twice a week. I'm just talking about the heavy drinking. And if you've got friends that are into that, and you tell your friends, or you think you may have to tell your friends, hey, listen, I can't make it out this Friday or this Saturday, or maybe you go out for a single drink and then you go home after hanging out with them for an hour, you may get some kickback from those people. Okay, you may be you may be kind of ostracized from those friends because they are the group of friends that really don't have the aspirations you have, but they do. They want to be they're kind of your drinking buddies, and you guys have done that for 20 years. You may have to kick some of those friends to the curb, or just kind of maybe pull back how much time you spend with them, and when they and the way you can one of the ways you can do this is by making sure your time is occupied with something else. So, if your drinking buddies always drink from 6 to 8 at the local Irish bar right down the street, maybe you fill that time 6 to 8 with gym time, or with learning time, or to spend time with a different kind of friend or another friend, and that'll help you get over that. And that's going to be something that's really hard. It's really hard to tell friends that they are not actively serving you anymore. And if you have an opinion on this topic, as always, you can text our number right there. It's on the screen, 405-217-4752. So you may have bad friends, and that segues into my next number two of the 5 painful truths you don't want to hear, is you may be in a bad environment. And by bad environment, I'm going to remove the friend factor for a second, and I'm going to talk about literally the environment around you. So you may be in a bad environment, meaning your office space and the people that you work with, for example, and sometimes the people you socialize with, may not be serving you. And by a bad environment, I mean, let's again, okay, I kind of went off topic there for a second. By bad environment, I mean where you work, your house, your office, your physical space, okay? That's what I'm referring to as your physical space. If you're watching the live stream here, you'll notice I've got some colorful things behind me. You can't see behind the camera. I've got some colorful, useful things in front of me. These are things that serve me, okay? They are things I spend a lot of time in this particular office, and they are things that lift me up. I like the bright colors. If you look behind me, if you're watching live, I've got a stop doing nothing sign. I've got books on the shelves that I'd like to read. Over to the right and behind the camera, I've got other things that lift me up. You may have to start adjusting your environment and putting things around you that lift you up and remind you of your goals. And here's another really good example. I just realized that behind the camera, for those of you that are watching live, you're going to see me pointing behind the camera. Behind the camera, I have a list called the 10 disciplines. And I stole this from the EOS website. And that is something I have to look at every single day, is the 10 disciplines. Use 10-year thinking, take time off, know thyself, be still, know your 100%, say no often. Don't do $25 an hour work, prepare every night, put everything in one place, and be humble. I have no choice but to see those every single, several hours every single day when I sit at this particular desk. That is part of me changing my environment, okay? I could just have a drab wall up there or a fancy art painting, but I like putting things in my eye line to remind me of the good things and remind me of what I want to change about myself. So you may have to take an active part in rearranging your physical environment to serve you, okay? You may have to put up, uplifting colors. You may have to put up, in some people call them cheesy, but you may have to put up inspirational posters, okay? Inspirational posters are inspirational for a reason. They tell us some truths and some things we need to know. Back in the day, there used to be a store here called Successories. Here in Oklahoma City, and I believe they're still online, but they're the ones with all the motivational posters. And my family bought me several of those small versions of those little motivational posters, and they tend to be like on my bathroom counter and other places in my environment. Are they considered cheesy? Yes, they are 100% considered cheesy, which is why there's a parody of them. If you ever want to see the parody of the motivational posters, I'm looking it up right now for you. What's the demotivational? There's a site that basically took that same concept and made it above a humorous I'm looking it up for you. Demotivational posters. Let me see, what was it? Despair. So if you want a good laugh, go over to despair.com, and they've basically taken they've modeled all of those inspirational posters, if you will, and they've come up with the negative version of some of them. And here's one right here: letting go. What's this one say? It takes courage to let go of the things you can't change. Consider that a warning. Leaders. Our burden is to take bold, dramatic actions. Should those fail, your burden is to suffer bold, dramatic consequences. And here's another one on quality. The race for quality has no finish line, so technically it's more like a death match. So I find those just as inspirational, to tell you the truth, and just as humorous as the ones on the motivational side. But my point being is your environment around you may not be serving you, so find ways to change it. I have three main coffee cups I use. One of them, for those of you that are watching live or on the recording, one of them is this. I have a Playmaker's cup I had made for it. Actually, I had several of these made. If you want one, let me know. I had a Playmaker's cup where I had custom printing put on it. And then my other two coffee cups come from Coffee and Motivation. They're black coffee cups, and they're really high quality coffee cups. But those are the small little things that I'm happy that my family bought for me, or that I bought for myself. It's just the small reminders. So every time, for example, every time I take a sip of this cup right here, it says this cup is reserved for playmakers. That's uplifting to me. Anytime I take a sip out of my two other cups from Coffee and Motivation, they lift me up also. And it's, you may think that, oh, it's not. How can a coffee cup lift you up? How can a simple trite phrase lift you up? It's one of the many small factors in your life that you can use to lift yourself up. So things like changing your environment and changing your friends, these may be drastic, huge, ginormous changes, or they may be small, minor, little tweaks that you can make to your environment and to your friends to improve yourself. I tend to make a lot of small little tweaks every single day to my environment, to the things around me, to get to where I'm going, okay? So it may not be big dramatic things. It may be small little things that, get you where you need to be. Okay, moving on. So we talked about you have bad friends, you may be in a bad environment. Number three, the other political party is not your enemy. They are opposition. They are your opposition and barely that. And if you've heard that before, yeah, I've heard it. I don't think it was originated in the TV show West Wing, but I heard it on West Wing once. And it basically, if you think about it, it's true. Okay, we are not, as long as we are going to be in this country together, we are not mortal enemies. We were either born here or we are immigrants and we chose to come here for a reason and a mutual purpose and a mutual, desire to improve ourselves. So if my neighbor across the street from me, I'm a registered Democrat, and that doesn't mean anything other than to let you know that I flipped a coin once in a DMV, and it came up, I think, heads, and that's how I became a registered Democrat because I had no idea what either party was. My my neighbor across the street from me, I have, I'm in Oklahoma. It's a very red state. So there's a very good chance that my neighbor on either side of me and across the street and diagonally across the street from me are registered Republicans. Okay. There's a very, very good chance of that. These people are not my enemy. Okay. Number one, we have chosen to register for different political parties. And remember that one of the goals of political parties, in my opinion, is to basically make sure you pick a side. Okay. And this goes back decades, if not, a century before where we ended up where we are now. Is political parties are money making entities, okay? And you get served or they get served by having an enemy to fight against. And if you've ever seen that before, have you ever heard that where if you don't have an enemy, it's very easy in our mind and our physical world to fabricate an enemy. And when we fabricate an enemy, then all of a sudden we have a bunch of talking points and we have things to argue against. So my neighbors are not my enemies. They are people I may have some disagreements with, but even that is probably not true 100%. It's always funny whenever I get into a discussion with people about what do Democrats believe in, what do Republicans believe in, and then you take that list. Let's say you take the Republican list. This is what Republicans believe in. These are the Republican talking points, and you go talk to a Republican. I usually hear two things. Well, number one, I don't believe in that, and number two, oh, I had no idea that's what I was supposed to believe in. So when it comes to political parties, remember, number one, we are not enemies. So this would be what? Not one. This would be 3A. Number one, we are not enemies. We are just opposition. And two, we are barely opposition at that. Because to tell you the truth, if I was to sit down and have some drinks with my neighbors, we probably agree on a lot of things that traditional Democrats and traditional Republicans don't agree on. Because at a macro level, we it seems like the people who lead our political parties want us to fight. At a micro level, at the neighbor level, at the coffee shop level, we're just people trying to get by, trying to earn a living, and we're trying to get along with each other. Every single day when I go out and about, there are people that are kind and nice to me, whether I'm driving or in a coffee shop or in Walmart or wherever, okay? I know a lot of these people are different political parties, but on a day to day basis, on a micro level, you and I really don't care about politics. We care about the cost of living. We care about expenses being low. We want our income to go up. We want to drive down the street and not get shot. Okay, we want to drive down the street and all get along, and we want the cost of gas to be cheaper. Okay, that's what we want at a micro level. So let's keep focusing on that. Let's not focus on the people who run political parties driving a wedge between us. Let's kick those fucking wedges to the curb and focus on just being nice to each other at a macro level. There's a quote. I'm going to see if I can look it up real quick. From the West Wing also, which basically says, um, which basically two people who are completely different political ideologies call each other names, but they do it in a humorous. They do it in a humorous way because you know what? We know we're different. Let's acknowledge those and get on. Let me see. I'm looking it up right now. So I'm looking up Lily Liberal and gun toting. I'm gonna see if I can find. I'm gonna see if I can find the quote here about these two people from opposite political parties. Here we go. Here we go. So here's a scene from West Wing, which kind of reminds me of how we should treat each other when it comes to our political parties. Okay, This is a very brief scene here. So President Josiah Bartlett, we agree on nothing, Max. Senator Lobel, yes, sir. Education, guns, drugs, school prayer, gays defense, spending taxes, you name it, we disagree. That's President Josiah Bartlett again. Again, the senator goes, you know why? And President Bartlett, I believe that's the Democratic Party, says, because I'm a lily-livered, bleeding heart, liberal, egg-hate communist. If you're going to have a political identity, own that shit, okay? Own it, okay? Acknowledge what you are. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? So, President Josiah Bartlett again, because I'm a lily-livered, bleeding heart liberal, an egghead communist. And Senator Lobel replies, and I, yes, sir, and I'm a gun-toting redneck son of a bitch. President Josiah Bartlett, yes, you are. Senator Lobel, we agree on that. So here are two people with completely different political ideologies, and they even acknowledge them to each other's faces. But you know what? When you acknowledge stuff like that, you can have civil discourse, civil debates, and spirited debates while still being people of completely different ideologies. Because again, ideologies, yeah, got that right. Because again, at the end of the day, we want cheap gas, we want cheap groceries, we want more money, and we want less restrictions and less rights taken away from us. Okay, I've beaten on that one. Let's move on to number one. Number four. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Your current health situation may not be serving you. It's painful to have someone tell you, like a doctor or a close friend, that you know what, you are in bad shape physically. Okay, you are in bad shape physically. That's a painful thing to hear. But again, these are painful truths I'm talking about here. What does that mean? You're not in the greatest shape. You may not have the aerobic capacity or the stamina or the muscle fibers to do the things that you want to do. If you're somebody who wants to get on cruise ships and travel around the world, to do that and have a lot of fun at it, you really have to be in good shape because there's a lot of moving around on cruise ships, okay? If you're somebody who wants to hike Mount Everest, if you're somebody who wants to hike the Appalachians, if you're somebody who wants to, let's say you're in Oklahoma and you want to go out to the Wichita Mountains, which I absolutely love going out to the Wichita Mountains here in Oklahoma. If you want to go out to the Wichita Mountains and hike up Mount Scott, which I've done, you're going to have to be in shape, okay? There's no doubt about it. You can do it being out of shape, but it might kill you, okay? I am constantly working to be in shape for life, okay? If you know anything about me, you know I go out on a regular basis in the morning and I do, I'll do anywhere between 3 and 5 miles in the morning. I'm going to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to the gym tonight. I don't do these things because they're fun. I do these things because they prep me for life. Why do I go to the gym and lift weights? Because I have to lift stuff around the house all the time. Okay, that's why I go to the gym and lift weights. Why do I go out and, walk 3 to 5 miles? Because I want to be able to do things like play pickleball with my friends. We're pickleball players. Like play pickleball with my friends and not get winded and not, break an ankle because I weigh 300 or 400 pounds. Okay, so I exercise because that serves me in other areas of life. I don't exercise for the sake of exercising. That's a joke. I know that's a joke in the CrossFit community. CrossFit's all about trying to be the best at exercise. I've been a CrossFitter. I get the jokes. Okay, I really don't want to be the best at exercise. I want exercise to serve my bigger purposes in life. So that may be a hard truth that you may want to hear. You may have to suck it up. You may have to lick your wounds for a minute. And then you may have to start getting up in the morning at whatever time you want to and go out and walk. It does not take a lot to stay in shape. It does not take a lot to get in shape. I promise you that, okay? That's a painful truth that you may not want to hear. The last thing. You may hate your job or your job may not be bringing you joy. And that's a hard one to hear because it's not an easy thing to change. Okay, that's number 5 here. You hate your job or your job may not be bringing you joy. There are times, and I have been there 100%, where we have a job that we get up and we go to, and the job, it's a habit. It's no more a habit than taking a shower, than making a cup of coffee. We just get in the habit of going to the job, getting a paycheck, going through the motions every single day and going home, and then collapsing on the couch and having a beer or 5, okay? You may be in that kind of position, and that's a painful thing to hear because number 1, switching jobs is hard, and number 2, switching jobs is scary. It's hard because you have no idea if you're going to be good enough for another job. And it's scary because it's change. You're leaving, you may be leaving a company. I left IBM a while back. I worked with those people for 8 years since I got here to Oklahoma City. I was very familiar with them. I was very familiar with my habits, my routines. I knew where the restrooms were. I knew where the coffee was. I knew where the lunchroom was. I knew all this stuff, okay? It was automatic. It was comfortable. I didn't have to think or stress about my morning. It was kind of always created for me. But the reason I left is because it wasn't letting me, achieve my aspirations. It wasn't bringing me joy. It wasn't getting me towards my goal. And that's a painful thing to hear, because to change that, you, number one, have to start looking. You have to start looking without your current job knowing you're looking. You have to find the kind of thing that would bring you joy. Okay, you have to kind of find the kind of work that would bring you joy. For me, there are a couple of things that really do bring me joy. Number one, we run a digital marketing agency here called Stop Doing Nothing Media, and I'm 100% that work brings me joy. It really does. But it'd be my ultimate job, or my ultimate client, because we obviously have clients. What would be my ultimate client is like a flight school or anything having to do with jets. Anything having to do with aviation would be my ultimate client. And I'm kind of working on a way to get those kind of clients. I really, really am. So that just may be something you and your spouse have to sit down and look at. Is you and or your spouse may not be in jobs you like. It makes life hard. It really does make life hard when you have to get up and grind it out every single day in a job you don't like. So I'm going to give you some quick tips here on how you can change that. Number one, obviously see if there's, figure out what you do like. That may be the biggest problem right there, is you don't know what you like. You've just lived life on autopilot. One thing I did notice a while back in my younger years is that pretty much life will serve you on autopilot. We have set up our environment, our government, our corporations to serve the citizens on autopilot. You can get a job and you can be halfway decent at that job and stay there 10, 20 years. You don't have to be great at it. You can just be halfway decent at it. You may not get some big pay raises, but you get the health insurance. You'll get all the benefits from it, but it may not serve you very well, and you may be miserable that entire time. And one of the things I don't want to do is I don't want to retire miserable. I really don't. That, for some reason, to me, that just doesn't sound like fun. So figure out what you do like, number one, then kind of make up, a very basic plan. I don't have a perfect plan for you here, but just come up with a way to, once you figure out what you do want to do, if you don't have the skills to move to that position in another company, work on getting those skills. I can't tell you the number of free resources that are out there to teach you to learn skills. The fault these days is YouTube, library. Find somebody who's in a position you want to be in and ask them. Sit them down for a cup of coffee or a hot meal and say, hey, how did you do this? For example, for me, this may be one. I've thought about getting my CFI, my flight instructor license. And I know around Oklahoma City area, there are plenty of CFIs, and I could take any of them. I could take my buddy Ryan Johnson out and say, what does it take for me to become a CFI? What education do I need? What degrees do I need? What training do I need? How many hours do I need to become a CFI? And just start making that plan going forward. And it may be a 1 month plan. It may be a 6 month plan. It may be a 1 year plan. But at least I'm constantly moving forward towards that. And as a bonus, I get to poke holes in the sky, because pilots are the coolest thing in the world. We already know that, right? So really quick, as a recap to run through these 5 truths. You may have bad friends. You may be in a bad environment. The other political party is not your enemy. They are your opposition, and barely that. Number 4, your current health situation may not be serving you. And number 5, the last one, you hate your job, or your job may not be bringing you joy. Okay? I'm curious, either text in or comment on below as to which one of those you can really, really identify with. Okay? That would be very, very helpful to me. Something else I pushed Monday. So we're going to switch gears here a little bit into some shameless self-promotion, okay? For those of you that are watching on the podcast, you can't see this, but I am showing in the camera one of our Stop Doing Nothing bracelets. This is with you, okay? It says Stop Doing Nothing on one side, and then when you flip it over, it says Done. I know this is kind of bouncy. Done is perfect, which goes along with my Done is better than perfect t-shirt I have on. If you want this bracelet, or if you want 10 of them, I want to sell them in batches of 10. Text me at the number on the screen, 405-217-4752, and I will show you how to get some of these, okay? They're going to be $10 plus shipping, but I will ship you 10 of these bracelets. I got in an order, I think last year, several hundred of these, and I have not been doing my job to sell these. I tend to just give them away. But if you, if you're somebody, U.S. shipping is obviously easier, and if you're overseas, we'll figure out a way to do it. Overseas shipping is killer. But again, 10 of these bracelets for $10 plus shipping. Text me on the screen here, 405-217-4752 if you want them, and I will hook you up and get those set up for you. And really quick, and I don't talk about it enough, I've been told, is Patrick, who are you and what do you do? Patrick Almond, Stop Doing Nothing Media. We run a digital marketing agency. And what that means specifically is I love lead generation and marketing automation. We have a tool, the Playmakers platform, that basically covers every single digital tool you would likely ever need. It replaces the MailChimps and the Calendlys and the Infusionsofts and the Constant Contacts of the world all into one tool. And by all into one tool, I mean full marketing automation, full calendar management, full form completion. We can take payments, we can take orders, we can do upsells, downsells, we can do e-commerce, we can do SMS marketing and email marketing and WhatsApp marketing. That is all in a single platform and a single login for well under $1,000 a month. I think right now our main price point, we're getting the most popular feedback for all this, which includes basically a mastermind. So you're in a mastermind plus the platform. So you're going to get the training from us on a regular basis plus the platform. We're selling it at $497 a month. And again, it's going to replace all of your other tools, and everything else is kind of integrated together. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you're somebody who's wanted a website or a landing page or a funnel, or you want to start building your email list, or you want to start doing like what I do when I have people text in. So that number on the screen right there, that 407-217-4752, that actually goes into my CRM when you text me in there, okay? And you can do what I'm doing. If you're on a live stream or you meet somebody and you have a quick elevator conversation, you make an elevator pitch, it's a cell phone number is a really easy way to get them inside your database. And so that's what I do on a regular basis, is I put people inside there from them texting into my business number. If you're the kind of person who, and this is specifically for the thought leaders and the coaches and the consultants out there, who wants to sell their knowledge online, please text me. I'm going to show you. I will demo this platform for you and show you how I can replace probably 5 to 10 other tools that you were using. Most people that come to us have several tools in their hip pocket. They've got a MailChimp account, and they connect that to a ClickFunnels account, and that MailChimp account is also connected to the Calendly account. But they've got courses, so they have to have the courses over in School or over in Kajabi or over in LearnDash. And then they have a live AI chat tool, which you may have to use ManyChat for. And so all of these different marketing, well, there goes the iPad. All of these different marketing tools that you are paying for can be consolidated down to one single tool. I'll give you a demo of it. I promise you will absolutely love it. Okay, as we wrap up here, 2 other things I want to remind you of. Thank you for watching. Sorry the tech didn't work on Facebook, but hopefully you're watching on YouTube, okay? Subscribe and share. Do me a favor, please subscribe on YouTube. That really does help out my numbers, and it gets me some actual visibility to the YouTube gods of the world. And like I said, share this on Facebook, share this with other people to help me spread the word. And our next show will be Friday morning at 9 a.m. U.S. Central. Friday morning, the 2nd, is that right? Is that the 2nd of August? Oh my goodness, we're already in the 8th month of the year. 2nd of August at 9 a.m. U.S. Central. I'm going to start working on my agenda for that, and my goal here is to fill your cup emotionally, to fill your cup motivationally, if you will, and to make sure you have a great day. So you start off with Patrick, or you watch me later in the day, and I promise you, walking out of this, you will feel better, okay? Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you on the next show. Take care. Wait, we gotta do the outro graphics right here, right? Where are the outro graphics? There we go. There's the outro graphics. You have a great day, everybody. Have a great week. Talk to you Friday morning. Take care.